Okay, that's what we created. So you can play around with it. You can add, for example, you can add the index here. For example, let's add the index here instead of Google. Let's say index. What is the index? You can just change it right here. You can say index here, and we'll run the application again. Like there are thousands of browsers, many of them out there. You have Google Chrome browser, you have Yandex browser, you have Opera browser, you have just many browsers. But have you ever thought about making one yourself? So we are going to make a simple project that will lead you to do to create your own browser. Maybe develop it more if you want to, but we're going to do that using Python language. So let's go and dive to it. So first we need to create our own folder. Let's just create it. Okay, and then let's name it maybe browser. Okay, now let's go and let's open our VS Code. Here our VS Code. Let's just take our folder and drop it here. Yeah, and after this, let's go and create our own, let's say our own environment, because we are going to install some dependencies. We have some framework that we are going to use. So you can hit Control Shift P. Okay, sorry, just hit Control Shift and P. This create an environment. Click on it. Yeah, it's processing. And then you hit Then. Basically, after this, you use the latest version of your Python that you already installed on your local machine. You have to install Python on your own local machine. Yeah, and let's zoom in, see clearly. So our environment should be here. So we had our environment here. Okay, now installing the environment is finished. So we have our environment here. It's ready. So let's now go and create our own file. Let's call it browser file, browser.py. And now after this, we are going to open our terminal. Let's open it. Terminal. After opening a terminal, we are going to install the framework, which we are going to work with. Let's hit pip install. We have PyQt5 and the Py. Okay, basically this allows us to use web browser applications. And then we hit enter. Okay, now we installed our framework, and now let's go to the coding part. Let's close our terminal and let's go to the coding. Okay, now let's import system specific parameters and function for the application. Let's say import syc, and then let's say from PyQt5 which is our framework. We're going to install our Qt core, import QRL, which is basically to handle the URLs. Okay. After this, we are going to say from PyQt5, and we are going to say from QWebEngine, yeah, wide. Just we're going to import our key. Okay, it's not the one that we're looking for. QEngineView, and this basically it's going to display web content, like the web browser widget. Okay, and then we are going to say from the not this. Okay, let's say from the PyQt wedges, we're going to import everything. Yep. So like importing all the necessary widgets from the framework PyQt5 for building the graphic user interface, basically. So now let's define the main application. Let's say class window, which is going to be the QMainWindow. Okay, and after this, we're going to constructor for the window class. We're going to construct the window class. Let's say define our function. Let's say def init. Let's say def init. Let's say self and keywords. Sorry, we need that. So it's kind of queries. So we're just now we're going to initialize the parent class, which is going to be something like this. Let's say super, which is going to be window and self dot init. Okay, we have a mistake here, I think. Yeah, we don't need this dot. Yeah, it's 1a. Yep. So I guess we got a mistake in itself. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. So dot init. Let's say also the same, taking the same arguments. Args dot and quarks. Okay, now after this we are going to create an instance of the QWebEngineView. It's like going to act as the web browser. So let's say self dot browser equal to QWebEngine. Yeah. Okay, and then we are going to say we are going to load the default homepage. Let's say you can pick whatever the default homepage. You can pick whatever the browser you want. Okay, let's say now our default will be something like Google. Let's say after this self dot browser dot set URL, and we'll be taking the argument of the key URL, and our URL will be Google. Say HTTP will be something like // it will be our www.google.com. So that's what we are going to do, and then after this we are going to, when the, like for example, when the URL in the browser changes, we're going to update the address bar. For example, let's go and say self.browser.url changes. Okay, we have it. URL changes. We're going to contact and update the address bar. Okay, we're going to update instead of updating. Update the address bar. Okay, and then after this, we are setting the browser. We're going to set the browser as the center widget of the main window. So let's set it at. We're going to say self dot center. It's going to center our. So that's basically what it's going to be. It's going to center the browser is going to be the center widget of the main window. Okay, that's basically it. And then we are going to create a status bar at the bottom of the window. Okay, let's say self dot status bar. Let's say status bar. Yeah, it's already there. That's our AI just detected. So, and let's say update it. Say self dot set status bar self status. Okay, and then we are going to create a toolbar for navigation control. We're going to create toolbar. Let's say self. Let's say navigation bar. Okay, it's going to be our tool, and it will take the text, which will be like, let's just say navigation toolbar. Okay, and then we'll go to update it. We're going to say also if the self dot, we're going to add the navigation bar. add the toolbar as a self navigation bar. That's it. So, and after we're going to create a back button and add it to the toolbar. Okay, the back button will be equal to our key button, and no, it's like not that key. Oh, let's say key actions. Yeah, it's going to take the argument back and initialize it to self. Okay, and after that, let's set it. We are going to say back button status tip, which is going to go to our previous page. Our AI detector is detecting the next action, so we have okay, I made a mistake here. So it'll be something like action. Yep. And then after this, we are going to have the back button trick. We're going to connect the browser back to the function. Okay, let's say back. Okay, back button, which is will be tricked. Okay, we have an AI detector that's going to detect back button tricked, and the same thing is going to do to the. We're going to add the back navigation bar. So let's say self dot navigation bar is going to add an action back to the button. Okay, and then after this we're going to create a refresh. You know, that refresh button that we are going to create, and it's going to refresh the page. You know, let's create a refresh button for that. Let's call it refresh. Let's create refresh button, and it will take the same argument as an action. Let's just copy this. Okay, it's going to take the same action, which is okay, unless it's going to change it to, instead of back, it's going to refresh the page. Refresh it. Okay, after this we're going to copy the same thing and we're going to paste it. Okay, but we're going to change this to the refresh button. Refresh button. So, but instead of going back to page, we're going to refresh the page. Well, let's say refresh this page. Okay. So, and then the same thing, go to the next button. You know, you have the back button, so it's obviously we're going to have the refresh button. Also going to copy this. We're also going to copy this. Yeah. So here, instead of back, it will be refresh. Okay. So the same thing will go into the next button. Let's copy this. And let's paste it for the next button. Let's say it will be like something like the next button. Let's call it next. Okay, let's going to call it next. And then we are going to say here next. And next here. And next here also. Where is it? Okay, yeah, next here. That's it. Here we're going to go to the next page, I think. Yeah, go to the next page. And then the same thing is going to have now we're going to add also the home page. So the same thing. Let's say copy this also. Okay, now copy it. And let's paste it here. Let's change this to the home page. And here to the home. And here to, let's say go to home. I think let's go to home page. Go to home page. And let's set up our page, which is going to be, I think, Google page. Here also we're going to have home. And here also we're going to have home. Home here. And here is going to take the value of the home button. Okay. Oh no, oh sorry. Here it's going to say self. Yep. Oh, because the button was just going to add the button. So after this, we are going to say to add a separate line between navigation button and the URL bar. You know, the URL bar is, you know, as Google. So let's do it like something like this. So this, we are going to add this one, for example, this one, this bar. So let's say self that let's call it navigation. Self dot navigation bar. So the navigation bar will add it as a separator. Let's add a separator basically to it. And then after adding the separator, we're going to create a QLineEdit, just to take the input to act as the address bar. Okay, let's say self dot URL bar, which is going to be equal to the QLineEdit. So it's basically to take the URL, it's going to take the input. Okay, after this we are going to after, you know, when you have a press enter, when you put enter, for example here, say here, when you hit enter, what's going to happen is going to lead you to the URL. Okay, we're just going to do that. When you press enter in the URL bar, navigation, you will navigate to the URL. So let's do that the backend. When you hit, you go to the nav bar. So let's do it. Let's say self dot URL bar, which is going to be equal, okay, not equal, but dot to return press. Oh, it's good. Return pressed dot connect to the lambda. Okay, where is lambda? Which is going to be self dot go to the URL. So dot go to URL. What URL? Which is going to be the key URL, which is going to be the self dot URL bar. URL, which is, yeah, dot going to have a text in it. Yeah, we're going to put the text in it. So that's basically it. Let's close our parentheses. Did we just close one earlier? It's going to go URL. Yeah, we opened here one. We open here one. We close here another one. So that's it. Let's close the other one also. Okay, and then we are going to add the URL bar to navigation to the toolbar. Okay, let's do that. Let's say self dot navigation. Okay, wait a minute. Navigation bar. We're going to add the widget. Okay, widget. Come on, man. Okay, and then the self dot URL bar. Okay, and then we are going to insert a break in the toolbar layout to allow a new toolbar below. Say self dot add toolbar break. Okay, and after this we are going to create another toolbar for the bookmarks. Okay, let's say bookmarks toolbar, which is going to be the key toolbar. Sorry, what? Okay, here's the key tool, and it will also be taking the value of self. And we are going to add the toolbar. Add the toolbar as a bookmarks. Okay. And then after this we are going to add another bookmark button for like, for example, for anything you want to add. For example, here what I added here is like my YouTube channel linked, Facebook linked, GitHub, Instagram, Twitter, so you can add whatever you want. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so let's say first let's add my YouTube channel. Let's say say equal to QAction, which is it's going to take the value of, say, my code. Okay, and then we are going to set the status. Say booyah code, which is dot set status. Set status tip. Let's say it's going to have go to BouyeCode channel YouTube. Let's say go to Bouye. What? What's wrong? What's wrong with this? Okay, and then we are going to add our link, YouTube link to the button. So let's say okay, trick to connect. It will be a label. It will be something like lambda self dot go to the URL, which is going to be the YouTube channel. So here is my YouTube channel code. Let's take, for example, here we're going to add my YouTube channel link. This is not my exact YouTube link, so let's just put it here. Let's go to my YouTube channel and copy it. Here I already make the links ready, so it's just like paste it here. Yeah, so you can use your own link or anything you want to use. So let's hit the bookmark to an action. Let's say bookmarks toolbar that add action to the button, which is BouyeCode. Okay. Yeah, and let's add another tools. Let's just copy this. Let's copy this. Paste it. Let's paste it 3 more times, let's say, or 4 more times. Paste it here and here. Yeah. So let's change this to Facebook, for example. Let's change it to Facebook. Because we have a Facebook here. So let's change it to Facebook. Okay, and then let's have our Facebook here also. Same thing goes here. And also we are going to add here, instead of my YouTube channel, let's add a URL, real one, which is going to be HTTP. It's going to be HTTPS. And we'll take the value of www.facebook.com. Then here we'll go to Facebook. And here, go to Facebook. And here will be Facebook. Okay, the same thing we are going to do it to going to change all of this to Twitter. I'm going to change it to Instagram, change it to Twitter, and we'll change it. I'll just stop the video and do it faster, okay? So, okay, let's do it. Okay, we just added our Facebook, GitHub, and Instagram, and X. So now let's go to the next step that we are going to do. So we are going to have to set the maximum size for the browser. For example, let's say self.browser.maximum size, which is going to be okay. And then we are going to show the main window with all the widgets. Okay, let's just say self.show. Okay. Yep, that's it. Okay, I guess this one is out of our function. It should be inside the function. Just put it inside the function. Okay, that's great. So yeah, and then self, and then let's say let's define the function to navigate the home page. Okay, let's define our function. Say def go to go to home page, which is this one. Where is it? Where's our page? Where is it? Yeah, so this one, go to home page, that we are going to define. Let's say let's create the function go to home, which is will be taking the self, and let's put it to this self.browser dot set URL, and it will be the Google page. So after define, we're going to define the function to the navigation to a specific URL. It's like any URL out there. So let's say def will be go to a URL, and that will be self URL, and it will be our URL. Okay, and then we're going to create we're going to use the if statement. For example, let's say if the URL has no shim, for example, you will add HTTP, you know, if it doesn't have a shim, because it's a URL dash shim, and will be equal to it will take the shim will be, if not, for example, if not equal, you should take it. And then there will be something like URL that sets the shim. Okay, URL that's, we're going to set it the shim. Okay, so we have the basically the self browser. We're going to check if the URL set to the shim. If not, if the shim doesn't exist, we're going to use the shim HTTP, and browse using the HTTP. Basically that's it. So okay, no, sorry. Okay, that's it. Or if the browser has a specific URL, okay, we're going to update self. Now we're going to update, say address bar URL. So now we are going to define function to update the address bar text when the URL changes. Okay, so let's create a function. Let's say def, it's going to update the address bar, which is will be self URL, and let's say set the address bar text to the URL starting. So let's say self dot URL bar. So we're going to set text to the URL dot string, and then we are going to move the cursor to the beginning of the text field. Let's say self dot the URL bar dot set it to cursor position will be 0. Okay, after this we are going to create the application object, the objects of the application. For example, manage the app's control flow. Okay, let's say app equal to the key A application. So, and then we are going to set a custom name for the application. Let's say app dot set an application name. Okay, we already have here. Let's call it, I think, your browser name. Let's say BouyeCode browser. Say BouyeCode browser. Okay, and then we are going to create an instant window. Let's say window, which is going to be equal to window. So I think that's it. Window equal to the function window. So let's just create our app dot exit. It's basically start the main application even loop, or keeps the window open and responsive. Okay, just going to keep the window open and responsive, and this will be able to create an instance of the main window. So let's hit run and see. Okay, let's see, run Python file, let's say. So we are having some issue. See if everything is okay. I just found a couple of mistakes. One of them like this, like for example the capital letter. Okay, you will find if you were following the tutorial, you will find some like those. So basically that's why I'm going to put the original code in the GitHub repository. You can check down below the description. In the description there will be a link to the main code. Okay, you can check it out. I think everything is fine. Window, what we have in here is window, which will be equal to window. What did I do wrong? Okay, let's run our program and see what it give us. Okay, that's what we created. So you can play around with it. You can add, for example, you can add the index here. For example, let's add the index here instead of Google. Let's say index. What is the index? You can just change it right here. You can say index here, and we'll run the application again after saying. Yeah, so we got our Yandex browser here. So you can play around with it and use whatever the Google the engine search that you like. So yeah.